Welcome to Spawn Point, the show for gamers by gamers. I'm Rad.
I'm Pip.
And I am Darren. And thank you for joining us once again, Pip.
Aw, thanks so much for having me, guys. I am super stoked to be back on Spawn Point for some girl gamer awesomeness.
Oh yeah, with International Day of the Girl this week, we thought it was the perfect time to celebrate some of the amazing work being done by women in games.
In fact, both the games we're reviewing today had talented female developers working behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's right. And we're going to start off with the fantasy strategy game of Armello.
Plus, we go on an emotional journey in the puzzle adventure game Last Day of June. You know, Australia and New Zealand are home to some super cool and innovative female developers, and today we're going to get to meet some of them.
The more diverse the pool of talent that you have, the more they're going to bring more of themselves to the work. And if they all look different and they are all different people from different backgrounds, then you're going to get better stories so we can get more cool stuff.
Maybe we should do an all-robot special one day, huh?
Yeah, I mean, we can give it a go.
How about a challenge, Darren?
Oh, affirmative. It's time for Darren's Challenge! Today, I'm asking you this. In which Nintendo game did Princess Peach have to be the one to rescue Mario from Bowser? Answer at the end of the show!
Okay, I really don't know the answer to this, but I think it's high time that Peach kicked Bowser's butt.
Oh, totally. Okay, Pip, are you ready for our first review?
Yeah. Armello is a strategy game that's kind of like a board game come to digital life, and it was developed by an Aussie studio called League of Geeks.
Not only is it homegrown, but a whole bunch of awesome talented women worked on the game too, including producer Lissy Kane and UI programmer Shelley Lowe, just to name a few.
The game is set in the fantasy realm of Armello, where an evil illness called rot has befallen the king. As the rot grows, it corrupts the king and brings him closer to death. To save Armello, you need to either cleanse the king of his rot or take the throne for yourself.
But it won't be easy because there are 3 other heroes to contend with. They can lay traps for you, attack you, steal from you, and just generally make life that much trickier.
Not to mention there's the King's Guard and rot-infected creatures to deal with. These AI-controlled minions are not to be underestimated, as they can really trip you up on your quest to victory.
There's a few different ways to win. If you collect 4 spirit stones, you can cure the king. You can also slay the king to take the throne, as long as you survive yourself. Then there's victory by prestige.
You gain prestige by defeating heroes or completing quests, and lose prestige if you die. If the king dies of rot or falls in battle but defeats his attacker, then the hero with the highest prestige level wins.
As there's lots of ways to win, you can play the game in a way that's enjoyable to you. Do you like sneaking about, or do you like to face every problem with brute force? Either way, there's a hero for you.
I do wish the difference between playstyles was a bit stronger though. For example, it'd be great if the stealthy characters had more action points, so they could travel further. I did find that the combat-focused heroes tended to be more successful.
Yeah, but maybe that's because your playstyle, you know, lends itself more to fighting characters.
That is a good point. I didn't think of that. I don't know, maybe. You do have to be a bit aggressive because a standard game only takes 9 days for the king's health to deplete and the game to end. That was too short for me. I liked playing the long game and building up an unstoppable force of a hero.
Lucky for you, you can play custom games and alter the rules. You can give the king more health or make it so that he doesn't take rot damage. This can vastly change the amount of time one match takes.
You know what? That was so great. I mean, being able to tailor the game to exactly how you like to play it is such a strength. You can also play online against other humans, which changes the gameplay a little bit as you have to wait for them to take their turns, as well as take your turns more quickly.
Oh, I totally got caught out by this. I didn't pick my first quest fast enough, so it just auto-picked for me. Whoops.
You'll need to be quicker than that, Rad, if you want to rule Armello.
I don't know about
about that, slow and steady wins the race. But I also thought that this game was super gorgeous, with super cute yet tough animal heroes who all look fabulous in their armor. Oh, but can you imagine Boatmeal dressed up in armor like that?
Oh, I don't have to imagine. Oh, Turbo good boy. I also particularly liked the art during battles. Gorgeous illustrations of the heroes face off, swinging their weapons and blocking attacks. They reminded me of old illuminated manuscripts, which feels super fantasy. Oh, I just loved it.
You know, Armello does feel very polished. I really liked the click-clack of the dice as they roll and land, and the tiles are nicely designed with clearly distinguished terrain types. The mountains were my favourite.
Almost all actions are wonderfully animated, which adds life and power to the game, like tiles bursting into flames.
That helps every move feel satisfying. There are also information boxes that pop up when you hover your mouse over almost anything. It was really useful when I forgot stuff, which was often.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it did my head in. But thankfully, the tutorial is excellent, explaining gameplay slowly in fun, story-based little missions. The fact that they needed to break it up like this really made me realize just how dense the strategy is.
Oh, totally. It feels like it has the depth of something that's been around for ages, like Magic the Gathering, for example. That is super impressive.
Although I did feel like the screen moved too slowly when I was trying to work my way around the map. It felt a bit sluggish, and there doesn't seem to be a setting where you can change it.
Yeah, I noticed that too, particularly in multiplayer when I had less time. I also think there's lots in the game that it's going to take a long time to understand, but the great part is it's still fun to play anyway.
Final thoughts?
Well, overall, I enjoyed myself. I mean, it's a fun, ambitious, beautiful, and well-made game, so I'm gonna give it 4.5 out of 5 rubber chickens.
Yeah, it's super rare for me to find a game that I can just lose myself in for hours and hours without even realizing it, but Armello is totally that. I'm giving it 4.5 out of 5 rubber chickens too.
Samesies!
Best things about games is there's something fun for everyone, young and old, boys and girls. And when it comes to the number of boys and girls who play games, statistics show that there's about a 50-50 split. But despite this, only about 10% of game makers identify as women, which is a massive shame. But even in their small numbers, these women are making a big impact on the industry and encouraging a whole new generation of girls to get involved in game making. Today, we're lucky enough to be checking out an exhibition which celebrates these women and their achievements. It's Codebreakers. So why was it important for ACMI to put on an exhibition about women in games?
I think women in games was unrepresented. It was unrepresented in the media, it was unrepresented in the museum context, and we were really keen to show the importance of women both as makers, as designers, as players, and the important role that women play in the industry as a whole. So this is the first exhibition of its kind. I think it's a really lovely exhibition in that it shows the women behind the games as well as the games themselves. We had an audience of young women in mind, and we wanted to say to them, hey, you know, here are some fantastic women who've come before you. These are the amazing things they've done. What do you think about doing that as a career? And I think that having these women very much having their faces and their voices as a presence in the exhibition is really part of reaching out to that audience.
So how did you get started in the games industry?
I've been playing games my whole life, and I really started out wanting to write about them more than make them, and then I got really jealous of people making all this cool stuff, and I started asking around for jobs to help out, and I started writing and editing and doing games themselves, and that was way more fun than writing about people doing cool stuff. I got to do the cool stuff too.
Why do you think it's important for young girls to have people that they can look at who are doing the thing that they want to do within the games industry?
It's super important to have role models. It's that saying, if you can't see it, you can't be it. And I really think that's true. I think once you have identified someone that you can aim to be like, you know where you're going, you know your trajectory, and you know that you can actually get there. You don't have to follow what someone did, but at least you know that it's possible to get there.
To have role models in the industry is a really important thing for girls of wanting to do anything. If all you're seeing in the media and in the conversations you're having with your family and in schools is of men doing something, it's very hard to say, hey, that's what I want to be and I know how to get there. So the role of role models, of mentors, etc. is even more important when you're talking about an industry which is so male-dominated.
How did you go about choosing who and what you were going to showcase in Codebreakers?
So we really wanted to make sure that people weren't thinking that games is either programming or art and that's it. So we wanted to make sure we had a lot of producers as well, independent makers who do the whole lot. It was more about what they do, and people from different backgrounds as well. It was very important for us to get a good cross-section of people doing different work and who've come from different places and different groups. That was really important, because we're not all the same, we're all so different.
What are some of the benefits of having more diverse people making games?
Better stories, 100% better stories. I think the more diverse the pool of talent that you have, the more they're going to bring more of themselves to the work. And if they all look different and they are all different people from different backgrounds, then you're going to get way more varied stuff. Like, it's just better stories is what it is for me, because I'm a writer, so I guess I'm biased. But I'm just excited about diversifying it so we can get more cool stuff.
What advice would you give to girls out there who maybe want to start working in games or really enjoy playing games and maybe haven't necessarily thought about working in them?
Give it a shot. Like, just try it on your own. You don't have to learn to program, you don't have to do any art, you don't have to do anything. There's so many great programs now like Scratch and Game Maker and RPG Maker and Twine. All these things that are basically free that you can make an entire game by yourself. You don't have to, it's not as hard as it looks. It's a lot of hard work went into all of this. It's difficult, but if you want to start and just see if you like it, it's never been easier than right now.
All right, Pip, since it's a very special day, I thought we might do a special Ask Spawn Point and do a whole bunch of questions from girls.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
But wait, there's more.
What?
All the questions are going to be video questions too. Yes. So everyone will get a Spawn Point t-shirt.
What? It's like two kinds of special smushed into one.
Like a peanut butter and jam sandwich.
Yeah.
Let's get started. And first up, we have this one from Amy.
Hi GGSP, I have 2 questions for you. 1. What seed would you recommend for Minecraft PE? 2. How do you get command blocks on Minecraft PE? Thanks, bye.
Thanks so much for your question, Amy. Before we answer that though, we should point out that technically Minecraft PE or Pocket Edition doesn't really exist anymore.
Wait, doesn't exist anymore? Why not, Rad? Where did it go?
Oh,
Is it
no,
here?
it's still there. It's just called Minecraft now. So basically, all the versions of the game that are part of the recent Better Together update have simply been renamed to Minecraft. Any version that didn't get that update will have some special edition tag in its name, like Minecraft Java Edition or Minecraft Wii U Edition.
Oh, right. Okay, so if you're playing a version of the game which has the word edition in it, you can't play with people who are playing on different editions.
Yes, that is the simplest way to think about it.
Okay.
So Minecraft PE, along with Xbox One, Switch, Windows 10 and VR releases, are now pretty much the same edition, which means they can all play with each other.
Okay, I think I get it now.
It is a little bit confusing. As for which Minecraft seeds we'd recommend, well, firstly, for anyone wondering what a seed is, they're basically strings of numbers or letters that determine how a world gets randomly generated. So if you use the same seed as someone else, you'll generate the same world that they have.
And I usually just keep starting new worlds until it generates one that I like the look of.
That's definitely one way to do it. Although, did you know you can click this arrow next to the seed button and actually select from a whole bunch of interesting seeds? They put you in cool starting locations like specific biomes or near structures like villages or temples.
Yeah, that's super handy. I mean, I always like to start near a village. You know, they have chests you can loot to give you a good head start on your gear. And of course, they have lots of pre-made shelters to keep the monsters away.
Oh, gotta keep those monsters away. And having villagers to trade with is a big bonus too. As for how to get command blocks, well, I know there's a special command that you have to use to get them, but I can't remember exactly what it is. Maybe we should just give Darren a call.
Yes, I've been wanting to do this all day.
Go, call him.
Hello, Darren speaking.
Hey Darren, I was just wondering, what's the command to get a command block in Minecraft?
Oh, well, you'll need to be in creative mode or have cheats enabled in survival mode. Then just bring up the chat window and type in /give space @s _command_block. Thankfully, the game now lists the possible commands you can write, so just follow the commands it suggests if you can't remember all that. However, it should be noted that while you can get a command block in survival mode, you won't be able to place it or use it.
Wait, so is there any point in getting it in survival mode?
Negative.
Oh, well, I think that answers that. Thanks, Darren. Oh, but before you go, our next question here from Anna has a little request for you.
Hi, Good Game Spawn Point. I was just wondering, on Terraria, how do you get silk? I've been trying for ages. I've broken cobwebs, I've gone down in mines, I've looked for silkworms, but I haven't found anything. Can you please help me? P.S. Darren Drizzy.
Well, Anna, I would be delighted to emote those emojis. Bland. Content. Tiny and sad.
Thank you.
Thanks, Darren, but I think we can take it from here.
Oh, very well. Goodbye.
Bye! Bye!
Ah, he's useful to have around, isn't he?
Totally, he's like a walking fact-checking machine. Although, I think he finds it funny to occasionally let people get things wrong and then make you drink from the noob cup.
Ugh, that thing looks so gross!
Oh, totally, it smells really bad too. I haven't had to drink from it yet though, thankfully. But anyway, to answer your question, Anna, you can't actually find silk in Terraria. You need to craft it.
Yes, and to craft it, you'll need to use a loom and 7 pieces of cobweb.
Now, of course, you may then ask, well, how do I get a loom? And that would be a fair question. But it's easy. You can craft one at a sawmill for just 12 pieces of wood. Or you may even find them in underground houses.
But now, if you're also wondering, how do I get a sawmill? Well, you'll need to use a workbench and have 10 pieces of wood, 2 iron or lead bars, and a chain. And you can make chains from iron or lead bars at anvils, which you can also craft with iron or lead.
But if you're wondering, how do I get a workbench to craft the sawmill? Well, workbenches are like the first thing that you make in the game. So if you haven't already got one, you're not playing the game right. Hope that helps. But let's move on now, and I think we have time for one more question, which comes from Arabella.
Did you notice that all 3 girls today had names that started with A?
Oh, did you know that my full name starts with an A too?
Oh, mine doesn't.
Go Team A!
Yay!
Hi, Spawn Point. I have a question for you. Is Splatoon 2 going to come out for the PS4, or is it already on the PS4? 2. I have a quiz for you. If you don't answer this correctly, you have to drink from the noob cup. What are the ingredients to build a wither, and how many of them do you need? Bye!
Thanks for your questions, Arabella, but unfortunately, Splatoon 2 is a Nintendo-developed game and completely exclusive to Nintendo Switch. So I doubt it will ever come out for the PS4.
And as for your quiz, I totally remember Barjo and Hex answering this on Spawn Point a long, long time ago.
So long.
I'm pretty sure you need soul sand and wither skeleton skulls.
And you need to make like a creepy snowman out of them. You know, like how you make golems, right?
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so let me think. I'm pretty sure you need 4 blocks of soul sand to make a body like this. Then you put 3 wither skeleton skulls for the heads. Yep. That's a wither!
Wait, do you want a hand with that? I mean, I can join in your game.
Oh no, it's fine, I died already. And on that note, we're out of time for this week. Thanks everyone for your amazing questions. You'll all be getting amazing shirts.
Ding ding!
And of course, if you want to ask us a question of your own, then you can go here and send it in. All right, we gotta get back to studio for our next review.
Oh,
we gotta go.
Oh, here she goes. Oh, no. Last Day of June is a story-based game made by developer Oversonico in collaboration with writer, director, animator, and super lady powerhouse Jess Cope.
Yeah, Jess. You begin as a bubble-headed man who's enjoying a day by the river with his lady love. But on their way home, they get into a car accident, and when he wakes up, his love is gone.
Here begins your quest to relive that fateful day from different perspectives to try and save her. You do this by collecting ghostly paintings and warping inside them, then assuming the identity of the painting subject.
It's here that I need to point out that while the game isn't purposefully scary, it's a little bit unsettling, isn't it?
Yeah, I really don't like those ghost paintings. Or the weird limbo-style world that you move around in to find them. Or everybody's faces.
All very bad faces, very bad. They're like little balls with dimples instead of eyes.
Ugh. But anyway, once you jump inside a painting, you get to choose your actions for the day, which changes the day's events. It's really interesting how all the little choices intertwine as well.
Affirmative. Just when you've fixed one problem and saved the day, something else happens to bring about the same result. Oh, the futility of it all.
But I think the game wants you to feel that frustration. We also see it in the main character's own reactions. This is a pretty emotive game, and they're really quite clever with directing your feelings. For example, I was feeling stuck in how slow and repetitive it was, until I realized that it actually highlights the difficulty and obsession with the situation.
But there is such a thing as too stuck. I spent too much time running around not knowing what to do next that it damaged my enjoyment a little bit.
There certainly are pros and cons to the hands-off approach that the game takes. There's no real tutorial, nor are there indicators on screen to give you any information about what you need to do or where you need to go. It's up to you to figure it out.
This definitely helps immerse you in the world because there's fewer distractions, but I think I would have liked a hint every now and then because nothing is worse than feeling completely stuck.
But it isn't all cutscenes or walking. There's puzzles to be solved too.
Oh, I just love a good puzzle. Nothing like exercising the old brain-a-rooney.
The puzzles are really nicely crafted into the world too, which gives the game a cohesive and immersive feel. Take the apple trees, for example. They're scattered throughout the town and you barely notice them until they're used in a puzzle. Primo subtlety.
The subtlety leads to some great moments of foresight too, which I loved. Like you could see the next few steps to take. That flower pot there, I'm gonna have to come back to knock it over. I'll be back for you, flower pot.
The best puzzles are always the ones that make you feel clever, and even though the subtlety left me stuck at times, it's those little details that make things great.
Totally, like having him in a wheelchair. It changed the way he was able to move through the landscape, which added a bit of challenge and forced you to explore more, all the while feeling quite thoughtful and real. And I always dig good representation in games.
Yeah, me too.
Indeed. Last Day of June is very thoughtfully created. Although they don't actually talk, each character has their own personality and story that's shown to players through their interactions with the world.
Without giving too much away, I can't say that I really agreed with the story of this game. As things progressed, I began to predict how it was going to end, and it turns out I was right. I didn't really feel like it was a good message.
I don't know, I mean, I felt like it was kind of sweet, and especially the way that they intertwined everything, but I do see your point. It's not exactly an ideal scenario.
No, but life rarely is. Overall, though, I thought that they executed some complex ideas rather well. I'm giving it 3 out of 5 rubber chickens.
Well, I really enjoyed this game, and I found it quite moving, so I'm going to give it 3.5 out of 5 rubber chickens.
Well, we are almost at the end of another show, so Darren, it's time for the answer to your challenge.
Indeed, Rad. At the start of the show, I asked you this. In which Nintendo game did Princess Peach have to be the one to rescue Mario from Bowser? And the answer is... Super Princess Peach on the Nintendo DS.
Princess Peach? More like Princess Power!
Oh yeah, next week on Spawn Point, the boys will be back and kicking each other's shins a lot in their review of FIFA 18. Plus, the deep down mining and crafting adventure of SteamWorld Dig 2.
Rad, Darren, thank you so much for letting me co-host and play some awesome games.
It was our pleasure, Pip.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out and maxing out the girl power.
Hey, anytime.
Until next time, be nice, have fun, and keep gaming. Rad out.
Bip out.
Darren out.
Darren, would you like to come to News to Me?
No, you can't have him, he's ours.
Oh, but we just got a nice big new studio. There's a spot with your name on it, buddy.
No, Darren, remember all those great times we lasered noobs together?
All contract negotiations must go through my agent.